What is up, everybody? What is poppin', man? Welcome back to the Straight Savage Podcast. And of course, I got my man Seagram7 with me as a special guest today. And the name of today's little podcast or talk is Did You Slack or Did You Back? And meaning, did you leave that Snowcat in its tracks or did you climb on a board and hit the tracks with it, man? So me and Seagram7 going to talk here. Seagram7, what's going on with you, fam? How you feeling today?
Hey, what it do? Appreciate you having me back on, bro. I'm starting to feel like at home in the Savage land.
Well, man, this ain't nothing but a regular conversation we would have, man. Just recorded, man. It's just really all about time. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I got time, man, just to talk, because hey, we could be doing this in a parking lot and it could be going into the atmosphere like many conversations I have before, brother. But it's always a good to have you on, man, and people dig you. My man Paul from up in Canada, I told him I'd bring him on the show, whatnot, but he say he always loves our conversations when we go back
and
converse.
I really enjoy it because I got my wife and my 12-year-old son that's still at the house. All my other kids are grown, and but my 12-year-old son and my wife, and I sit there trying to tell them about my new figures that came in and what's going on in G.I. Joe, and they're just like looking through me, man. So I enjoy coming on here and being able to talk about Joe with you, man. I really appreciate it, brother. So
yeah, man. It's always good to talk Joe, man. And to be honest with you, it's therapeutic for other people as well, because if you got an interesting conversation on any podcast, I'm gonna sit down and take a listen, man. So let's go ahead and crack it open and with our audience, give them what they want. So we'll start with you first, since you're the guest. Did you slack or did you back the Snowcat?
Man, you know this, man. I'm in for 3, baby. I was gonna get 5. But based on our last conversation, you know, I really had to do some self-reflection and really take a look at everything I got. And I really need to be more conservative. You know, we talked about the plateau in our last conversation.
Correct.
You know, I'm nowhere near ending my collecting, man. It ain't ever gonna stop, man. I'm in this, baby. But you know, I really got to be more conservative because I am running out of space, and you know, I can't be out there buying army building everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I really have been army building just about everything that is an army builder, and I need to quit doing that, because when you start buying, you know, 10 of every figure and 5 of every vehicle, it adds up pretty quick. You know, it grows exponentially, the collection. So I'm in for. I got 3. The whole thing funded, so I'm excited about that. We had several conversations about the Snowcat, and I was really starting to think we were only going to get like Lady J and possibly the Bivouac. So for it to hit all the tiers like that, man, I was pretty excited. And I think a lot of people, because there was a lot of YouTubers and other people in the Joe community that were talking about going live that night and almost having like a watch along, but you know, to see if we would clear all 3 tiers. But, you know, like an election night, the night ended kind of early, man, because we got over that finish line I think around 10 o'clock, maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock. I know it was a lot earlier than we expected.
Yeah, it did, man, and it took me by surprise, to be quite honest with you, because um, it really is in the last 24 hours, just really kind of took off as far as reading, getting his tiers. Of course, it's still the lowest GI Joe classified, Haslab funded, but it really just took on wings of itself. It would have been a great bet to make. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a gambling man too, like, what I'm saying, because it had some crazy odds, and the odds was looking against it. Be quite honest with you, if you're a gambling person, you always take the odds that's the heaviest because the better payout. But it just took off, man, and I don't knock you for getting. I mean, I don't knock anybody if it was no tiers had funded, but it was a total complete package with all of those tiers. And man, I see you switched up your name. That's dope. That's right in the pocket, aka the Window Viper.
Yeah, man. I meant to do that last time.
Yeah.
I came across that episode again on YouTube, man. It's a funny episode. So
Nah, it all ties in, being that you got the pressure washing joint, man. So nice.
well, what about you? Did you end up changing your mind and at least getting one, or did you stay true to what you said in the beginning?
I'll tell you this, it flip-flopped hard. I was even going to do it on my credit card, but I just could not find the reason. I still felt like I was making myself get it.
Really?
Yeah. So I
thought for sure you'd end up coming on today and saying you got one. So
no, I held out, man. And be honest with you, who says I won't ever still get one? I might, maybe next year, maybe I have a change of heart, because like, hey, you'd be like, well, you're playing scalper prices, but it is what it is, man. But I seriously don't think I'm going to miss that one, to be quite honest with you, because like you said, I have so many. And just to clarify, on the last episode, I know I said I'm at a GI Joe plateau, but it's just mean I've leveled off on things. Definitely not going to stop collecting that line, but I have to level off on certain things I pull in. Now, maybe if I came in maybe about a year ago, I'll probably be all for it. You know what I'm saying? Because if I came in a year ago, I'm looking at all this other cool stuff that I missed out on, and like, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab this. It's officially GI Joe. Is not a vehicle I'm supplementing or anything like that. Which maybe if we have time, on another episode, we'll do generations of GI Joe. But I'm first class, classified, GI Joe. I've been there since the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't come in like a year ago.
Right.
I army built from the beginning of it, original Blue Troops. You know what I'm saying? So I've had my taste of, indulging and classified. Is it going down? No, I think it's a great line, but just with that vehicle, and I'm glad it fund all the tiers funded for the people who did, get it. That's how real I am with it. Like, I'm glad you got everything that you deserve for that 325, man. But I just felt I felt like I was pushing myself to try to get that. I tried to justify it the last 24 hours, man. I was gonna do it, but I decided not to.
Well, they finally came through that last couple of days and started doing some stuff that gave the attention that the Snowcat needed. Like they did that. They released the photos about 3 or 4 days before it was coming to a close. Lenny and Emily got on there and did like an Instagram live where they showed the Snowcat.
I heard about
personal and really talked about what was going on with it. And they had some good information that they released in that segment. I don't know if you remember us talking about, I asked you if you knew how the international backers worked, like if it was added. They even touched on that. So Emily said that what they normally do with that is international backers are added every Monday manually. And so that's why you would see a bump on Mondays. But she said that she had been so busy, they had been on vacation, that she hadn't added in either the last two previous or at least the most recent international backers. So right after they got off doing that live, we got a huge bump. We went from Lady J to unlocking the bivouac like pretty quick. We got like a 1500 bonus or 1500 spread right there. And that came from her adding in those international backers. So, and then I also found out, this is interesting too. Remember how we were talking about that night when the everything closed? It was like 16.8, but then the next day it was back down to 15.3, and then later on that day it jumped back up in the 16s.
Yeah, 16.
So I found out what happened was the international backers that she added in that day before got kicked back out. So she had to go back in after the fact and enter them back in. So
okay.
That was where we lost some and then got them back there after the fact. So I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was like, man, what? It was almost like it was happening almost every day where we would get a bunch of backers and then we'd lose the backers. We get backers and then we'd lose the backers. So it wasn't just that last day. It was like something that was going on throughout the whole campaign. So I was starting to wonder if there was like, haters out there, like being funny, like, getting us all excited. Hey, we're getting there. And then they go in there and cancel them to mess with us. But it was an interesting, the whole campaign from day one. It was just a different Haslab.
It was. And both things that we were talking about, as far as me not getting it and you taking it easy, it was that type of Haslab. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice vehicle, but it still just doesn't have that popularity of a Rattler or a Hiss. You know what I'm saying? For somebody who backs big like you, like I'm backing 5. I don't care what you say. You know what I'm saying? I'm guaranteed you don't think about that Snowcat like that. I'm backing 5. I don't care what if it doesn't bring out that emotion, it just doesn't.
Well, like you said, you want to have a conversation about generational Joe, like what time you came in collecting Joes. That was a vehicle I had when I was a kid, man. And man, I had a lot of fond memories of playing with that. So
yeah,
it was nostalgic for me. Whereas somebody like you didn't have it. It wasn't even on your radar when you were a kid. So
correct. And that's the cool thing I'm gonna do with that episode when we talk about it is like generations, like people who came in the beginning of Aura, like 82 to 86, and then you might got an 85 to 89 type. That's the same thing that's going on with Classified now, to where somebody who originally collected Aura might not care too much about an Alley Viper, who came in at the beginning of the line because he was probably on his way out the door. Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? That does not look anything like the normal Cobra Trooper. So same thing is going on with Classified. It's not really age preference, it's time preference. When did you come into the line? And I'm not saying like people not knowing anything about G.I. Joe period, because that's why we're all here from the get-go. It's just what attracted you, and when you're coming in. Like me, I'm 5-6 Haslabs deep, and you know what I'm saying. So for me not to get that, it's not like I don't have any vehicles. You know what I'm saying?
Did you do the Sky Striker?
Yeah, I did Sky Striker as well. Okay. Yeah, and to be quite honest with you, man, I'm at a point now. I wouldn't mind seeing a Haslab Sky Striker. I might would grab one. I said that wouldn't really interest me, but if they could pull it off, it'd probably be a pretty dope plane in that size. Especially if it's going to be bigger than the Cobra Rattler. It's probably going to be the same size, but the places where the Cobra Rattler has gaps at, those wings will probably be filling it up. You know what I'm saying? Because those wings kind of go angular. Rather than just straight out, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I didn't have a Rattler growing up either, but I did have the Sky Striker when I was a kid. I had the Sky Striker, I had the Well, and never got the flag. I begged the hell out of my parents to get a flag, and I could never get them to come through.
$100 back then, that's like insane. Amounts of money, man, because $20 was something big back in those days. What you talking about? Early 90s, late 80s? Well, even mid to late 80s. Yeah, that's a lot of bread to drop, because I always wanted a Technodrome, and I think it was like $30 back in the day. And you think I ever like, hell no. Shit, $30 was a fucking light bill.
That's crazy how times change like that, man.
Inflation, man. It's crazy thing about it is my grandfather used to always talk about when he was younger, and he just have stupid cheap price because he came up in like the 30s and 40s, like $1 for a pair of pants and shit like
Okay,
that.
buying a house, man, for like $10,000, man.
He brought his house for $1,000.
How much?
1,000. He
Damn,
bought it.
dude.
He bought it in
You can't even
1932.
pay that for a month for a
I
house these
know.
days,
I
man.
know. I know. It's still a little old white shack on Ramsey Street, man. But right now that commercial property is probably worth probably 100 bands just sitting there, as it is, man. Because when he brought that house, that was like out of town. But Ramsey Street, and especially South Ramsey Street, that's like damn near
It's
downtown.
growing out. Yep.
Mhm. So let me ask you this. So you down for three of them? Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. Tell me about some of the things that the new stuff that I didn't know about. I didn't know that it's gonna have like we said USB light, so it will have no battery pack.
Yeah, so that was some of the stuff they went into. And that's what I felt like they need to do from the beginning. They didn't really showcase it. And I've told you this in our other conversations. I didn't feel like they showcased it and really.
Not at all.
And yeah, this is a Haslab, man. It's supposed to be you're getting people to come out their pocket, man, and pay and back it. You really want to show the thing off, man. Put it on a pedestal and put the lights on it, But so they really took their time, and from the lights, we got the batteries and the Hiss, the Rattler, and the Dragonfly. Mm-hmm. And what they're talking about is in this one, it's going to be a USB type deal where you plug it in and it stays charged up. And not only that, but they're also going to have, he talked about, you're going to have like different, you're going to have like a night light. You're going to have like like when you press the button, you can go through different series of scenarios. You're going to have like a fog light effect. You're going to have a night light effect, hazard light effect, different scenarios for it to play out.
Nice.
They talked about, this was pretty cool too. They talked about how that Snowcat that they have is just a 3D printed one that's still a work in progress. And they're going to be adding a lot of textures to it, like in the back where the APC part is. They're trying to get that developed where it has texture, like how when the Hiss tank folds down, the ramp has texture to it.
Yeah, treads pretty much, so they can walk on up.
Right, and they talked about the wheels because the wheels look really plain in the model that they have. So they talked about that they might possibly change the color of the wheels over the course of the Haslab. So they asked people to comment what color they like, whether black, gray, or keeping it white, to kind of give some feedback to incorporate that into the Haslab. So that's stuff that they need to do, man. You're taking your fans and you're really engaging with them and making them feel like a part of the campaign. So
correct, man. It was lackluster on their part. If they seen it was going slow to do some of the things they did at the end, but I guess at least they did them. But that's just normal almost with them. It almost seems like they're being arrogant, like well, if you don't get it, oh well, because there was a couple of Haslabs and some that failed where they just kind of really just didn't push it no more. But I guess in a business like that, you usually will have a game plan, and they probably had a game plan and just ran out of shit. You're like, oh, that was our game plan. We gotta go back and try to make something happen or come up with something to get people to get this thing, man. Because I guess their game plan is to gush over it, anything that they put out, at times. For the most part with G.I. Joe, they've done a great job with it, but this one right here, they needed some more effort on it.
They also touched on how they came on picking Lady J and Flint for the figures, and I think they said, if I remember correctly, that they were considering doing a troop, like just a straight troop builder, but as like a steel core, like with the steel core hat.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I think I'd rather have Lady J. and Flint. And be honest with you, those two were never a problem. I actually think they're pretty dope. You know what I'm saying?
I do too. I like them, man.
You know, the brown bomber, the leather he got on, you know, with his fatigues, and you know, got the toboggan on his head. And Lady J face looks, at least from what I've seen, digital render wise, looks better.
That's one.
He
Yeah,
didn't have a bad face, but you know, this one looked a little bit more refined, man. It's just a coincidence of like what more with this Haslab could you do to excite somebody except for nostalgia, and that's a vehicle they remember, because I mean it's a snow vehicle, so it's going to just be plain white, you know, which is not plain white. I mean it has different little aspects to it, but you know I just don't think that there is really nothing too much more that can wow you about this vehicle. But let me hit you with a question here. Being that it's one of the lowest, it is the lowest GI Joe classified, because I believe all of them have broken over 20,000. How much you think it's going to go on the aftermarket next year? You think that people will ask a steep price for it? Because you know that's the Haslab game. You know, I mean, some people hold them back to resell. And when you said it jumped back up to 16 too, I'm like, good, more to put back out there next year, just in case like somebody like me changes my mind.
Yeah, well, people were saying that, and I don't know if it was just somebody like just talking out their ass, but somebody did make a comment where they were saying that because it was the least back Haslab, that it was going to be the most valuable Haslab because there aren't so many out there. I did hear that comment, but I don't know, man. I mean, the his tanks, they all seem to be going. The his tanks, the Dragonflies. I haven't looked up what a Rattler's going for, but they all have seemed to kind of almost double, or like around that 450, being able to hold around that 450 to 5 range.
Yeah. So I looked at a Dragonfly, because I don't have a Dragonfly in box sealed. So I looked at maybe, it's like maybe sometime next year potentially doing. So once I pay off this other his tank, by that time, that's how I'm just slow rolling it, man. Like this his tank I just painted up for the Alley Viper. I did that on payments, $40 a month. So May next year, maybe I'll use that like how I did and just get a Dragonfly in box. What I'm saying? Not touched. Because right now I just have 2 loose out, and I looked on it last night. It was like 500. They all kind of hover around 500. I think right. The Rattler is about 5 right now too.
And that was another thing in my decision making process to stick with 3, because I was going to jump up to 5, but I did 4 his tanks, 4 Dragonflies, and I did 3 Rattlers. But to be real with you, Mike, man, I've only opened up 1 of each. Like I only got 1 of my his tanks open. I only got 1 Rattler open. Only 1 Dragonfly, and the rest of them are still in the original box and in the original shipping box that they came in. I haven't even opened up the shipping box. So, when we, like the Dragonfly, I saw it when I was like, damn, that thing is so dope. In my mind, like when the Haslab the campaign was going, I had all these ideas of all this stuff I was going to do with like 4 Dragonflies, coming in and pictures and, all these crazy ideas. But then it comes in and you're like, damn, that's a big son of a bitch. And so, I don't know. To answer your question, I would say it would probably, it's definitely going to be more than what we paid for it as at the 325 spot, but it's hard to say. What I'm really curious about is what these things might be worth 10 years down the road. Like what's the value of this stuff going to be after classified is over with? We're talking about having a conversation about generational collecting. What time did you come in? But what about what's going to happen? Like when, a lot of the G.I. Joe collectors are in their 30s to 50s. What's going to happen when we start aging out? Like when we're in our 60s and 70s, man, what's going to happen with these toys? Is there going to be another group of collectors that come along down the road, or, what's going to happen to these collections down the road?
I think it's too iconic of a brand to disappear forever. Will it fall off? It might go into obscenity. You know what I'm saying? Like just oblivion, basically. But I think there's always a way for G.I. Joe to pop his head back up somewhere. I mean, look at it now. I mean, if you had told me, which I was out of the collecting game for a long time. I collected a little bit after I got out of high school, and didn't jump back into collecting like 2015, 16. But to me, GI Joe was non-existent. All I can remember was the old stuff. So I think it'll always be there, but it can go from sugar to shit. Well, that once it's all done, it could be worth zero. I think biggest thing to us is what is it worth to me? I know mine
Right. Yeah.
is a little bit past monetarily. Now I have my personal sealed off collection, like with my with my Haslabs. I just have one, inbox, never been touched. I never even busted tape on it. And that's just personally just that go with my inbox collection. But that's really what I have it there for. And getting back to that Dragonfly, like I was hurt up, like so I can only afford one Dragonfly when it came out, but I definitely would have got a second one just to have in my personal joint. But I always would believe it would be worth something, man. It's all about the hands of time and where does it fall at, because GI Joe is so cool, it'll pick up somewhere back down the line, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and Classified is definitely help keeping that alive, and even with those comic books, definitely help keeping that alive. Like maybe one day, 20 years from now, somebody will actually come and do a great GI Joe movie because they read a GI Joe comic book, didn't know anything about it. I mean, this kid
or a series, man. I think a series would do good with
I'm talking about a kid who may possibly be born at this day right here.
And they were supposed to do a Lady J series on Amazon a few years ago. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I heard about that, but I just took it up as rumors. I just took it up as rumors, man. That would have been dope, but I mean, you could throw shit at the wall all day. I mean, they need to come with something good, because they had a couple of chances and it's all like, bukkake. You know what I'm saying? Like it's bull, man. Like golly.
They try to put that Hollywood twist on it. You don't need Channing Tatum playing Duke. You don't need all that shit, man. You don't need The Rock up in there.
Correct.
You don't need that stuff.
You don't need to give Snake Eyes a personality. You know what I'm saying? He has his own personality as a mute. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's just stupid stuff, man. But there was one thing. Oh, that's what, because we had the 27 minute mark. Now, as far as next thing I'm gonna ask you is what do you want to see in the future? But is there anything you want to touch up on before we move on to that last little piece, as far as Snowcat, anything like that?
Yeah, there is one thing I did want to mention. How we talked about it looks like it only comes with 2 blast effects.
Yes.
All right, so I'm curious, and I don't know if they touched on this and that Lenny, because I was listening to it and working at the same time, but I don't know if you noticed in those pictures that I sent you, they had the blast effect that comes with the Dragonfly, the big one.
Yes, yeah.
So they were using that in some of those pictures for the Snowcat, and they actually had it on the table where Lenny and Emily were talking. They had 2 of them. 2 of the big ones and then the 2 little ones. So I'm curious if they're going to give us those now. And I haven't heard no talk about it, but if you go back and look in the pictures and you go back and watch that little video that Emily and Lenny did, they're in that on the table, the bigger one.
Yeah, I didn't catch the Instagram joint. I just heard about it, through word on the street. But I don't know. Did those be too big? You know what I'm saying? Because, well, I don't know.
They had it, if I remember correctly. I need to go back and look, but I remember. I think they had it on the Snowpedo. Okay. It was on the back of the Snowpedo. So if anybody in the comments watching this, if anybody knows what's up with that, please comment it, because I'd like to know myself, man, if they're gonna add those.
That'd be great, man. That'll be a first, for them to add something. They have added stuff before, like the shield on top of the turret of the his tank. Didn't they add that after the game?
Yep.
They said they didn't want somebody just up there shooting. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, I hope so, man. Anything helps. As far as on my end, before we move on to what Haslab would like to see in the future, I just got an email from my Rattler. They said they both of them should be here Wednesday.
Congratulations. Not fucking time.
I know, right? So anybody who's still out there, they sent me a pre-email first saying it'll be by the end of the month, and then they just sent an email saying it'll be here on Wednesday, man. So congratulations on that. That's finally getting shipped. And I'll go. Matter of fact, I'll let you go first.
Speaking of to conclude the Snowcat, the other thing, thank God I only did back 3, because that same day I opened the email saying something about Hasbro. I opened it up, man. I got hit for 6 of those with the Trench Viper.
Oh yeah.
So I got hit for 6 of those, which I wanted, and I've been waiting on them. We ordered those all the way back in October of last year. So I've been waiting on those, and I'm glad it hit. But I'll be damned if it didn't hit on the same exact day, an hour before they charged me for my Haslab. So I got hit for 6 of those joints, and then like an hour later, I got hit for 3 of the.
So about $1,100.
Nah, more than that, man. It was
yeah. No. 369.
Down in case the wife's around the corner.
Yeah, like 1,400.
Yeah, it was more like about 14. Yeah.
I had to do my math and shit. Hey, but I'm glad you brought that up, man, because they hit me too, man. I had to cancel them joints. That's why I'm telling people I'm at a plateau. You know what I'm saying? I had to cancel them because I had 6 myself. Why? I don't know. I had 3 on one order and 3 on another order.
That's how I did it.
Yeah. And what happened was I seen that one didn't go through. So, and I forgot, man. I thought maybe it was just that one. I was like, okay. But then I seen they hit my account, man, for the 175. So I had to call in and just get that canceled, man. And go and give that up. And reason why, and this is why I'm telling you I'm leveled out, because they kind of shot themselves in the foot with some people, because I ordered the G.I. Joe one. I ordered 6 of those, but I'd rather have the G.I. Joe sided one than the Trench Viper. You know what I'm saying? I actually like the way, that trooper looks, what was it?
Nice camo pants.
Nice camo pants on the core. It looks dope to me. And I think it'll fit G.I. Joe better. So I just had to totally let that go. And even though that's a hot item too, as well, it stays sold out. But, oh well, you know what I'm saying? But like, I can't get beat down like this, you know what I'm saying? Because this shit is like piling up, man. So you got to cut your losses somewhere, man. And that's why I had to cut them out on that. But yeah, it did come that same day. I think, because I was on the road riding. I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, I was out in Charlotte. But what, man, what you expect to see to come out? What you want to see, as far as Haslab and something that's really going to captivate the people if they do it? Because I'm almost sure eventually, man, they're gonna go to these big vehicles pre-order, man. Especially with this, they cut it close on this, and anything where you don't meet a goal in business, especially a corporate like that, is a failure in their eyes.
Yeah, I think they're gonna learn from this. One thing I will say about the G.I. Joe team, man, that they do seem to listen to what we say. Like if they're doing something and we don't like it, that they seem to make adjustments. And I'll give you 2 examples. Number one, when they first came out the line, it was more based on the video game concept, and a lot of people weren't feeling that, and they started making some of the retro feel to them, like the Spirit, the Alley Viper, and people really digged them. And you could see that they started transitioning to what we wanted. The weapons, there was a time where the weapons are still shitty, but there was a time where you get a weapon and the barrel would be bent 45-degree angle to the right, and the butt of it would be to the left. And it just felt gummy. And people started complaining about that. And now you see the weapons are a lot more sturdier and
a lot more realistic looking.
Yeah, a lot better. The other thing is a lot of people were complaining about the heads, about how you couldn't take a head off Duke and put it on, whoever. The neck pegs weren't interchangeable. And I think they're all universal now.
They are?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
Well, yeah. You know what? For the most part, I can get a neck peg to fit on. It's just depending on what the size of the character.
The ball, I guess the ball is what I'm saying. When you pop the head off, all the balls are supposed to be, for the most part, universal now. So they do, if they start going one way and the fans don't seem to like it, they do seem to listen to what the fans are saying and take heed. You know, a lot of companies don't do that. They're like, fuck it, hey, this is what we're doing. Either you like it or you don't. You know?
Yeah, and I will say that, man, because like you said, they course corrected. They had to course correct a couple of times, and they're pretty much on the right track. Where I haven't really heard any complaints on GI Joe in probably about 2 years.
The retro card backs too. That was another thing. They came up with the retro card backs, and they're real flimsy, and a lot of people hated on that. And they went back, and when they went from windowless or window to windowless, a lot of people didn't like not having the windows, and now they're back to the window packaging. So it seems like they do course correct to when they course correct when they know we don't like something. So that is a positive, I would say, about the Joe team. Now, to answer your question, as far as what I'd like to see for next year for a Haslab, sorry about that long tangent.
Hey, look, I was about to say I got to interject the question to get them back on track. So what do you think about the next year's Haslab? So that's what I was exactly about to ask you. It's all good, though.
So we're back with Cobra. Right?
Yes. So something should be something good. Because all Cobra shit, whether it's silly or not, it's always, something cool.
I'd like to see them do something like what Star Wars did last year with the Cantina. I would like to see them do some kind of play set. That's what I'd like to see. Something like I know we can't get a damn what's the Cobra base, the big Cobra base, the circle thing. Yeah, I know we can't get something. Yeah. The Terradrome. I know we can't get something that big, but they could give us.
Not? That's the way they need to go to, and that's what I'm about to say. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Give me a Cobra Night Raven. Why not? Because
that would be pretty cool. Night Raven.
Where they're aiming at, they're aiming too low. You know what I'm saying? We got to aim a little bit higher. Because just like what we've been screaming about the Snowcat easily could have been a pre-order, online exclusive or whatnot, and it would have sold more units. I guarantee it probably would have pushed over 20 units. But this thing with this Haslab, this is GI Joe. We got to go big or go home. Like they don't like. I swear to God, they need to do a Moray. I think a Moray is still that's not enough. Drop that motherfucking Night Raven on them.
Yeah, Night Raven would be sick.
But it's gonna cost. It's gonna cost, but it still would be a dream project. Like the Rattler. When I opened that up, I was like, man, this is a dream here. It's heavy, it's big, it takes up a lot of space, man. It's and those all sound like bad things, but they're great things. You know what I'm saying? Heavy, big, and it takes up a lot of space. This is a vehicle here.
That's what a Night Raven would be cool. But I would like to see a play set. That's what I'd like to see. Something where you can start like that. How we're talking about the Trench Viper, something like that, but on steroids.
Yeah, and like pretty much on Thundercat's size, that Thundercat layer. Right. That was pretty much a play set. And it's just with GI Joe. If it's gonna be a play set, it's gonna be massive, man. I'm trying to think.
People were talking about when they started showing the mass device figures, like these guys. People were saying that there might be like a mass device Haslab. I heard people saying, so something like that would even be kind of cool, or a Dr. Monbender's laboratory, like how they made Serpentor or something like that. Just something but big, because it would have to be a Haslab. So, but have all kinds of little components, it would be pretty cool, man.
It would. And I know everybody wants to see it. I don't know. It's just a thing. I don't know. Because that'll be a first one because it'll be a first time they stray away from a vehicle. And then
but Star Wars did it, man. They did that bar and they had all the little
you talking about Black Series, right?
Yeah, for the Black Series. It was the
I don't think it takes much to please them, though. I don't think it takes much to please them motherfuckers. Like, I am not trying to be funny either, because Star Wars is it almost goes, it kind of goes hand in hand with that Cantina set, because that's just something you think about a lot too within Star Wars. Just that scene, hey, my friend doesn't like you, and I don't either. That dude with that messed up nose or whatnot, messing with Luke. And it was a lot of little joints that go in when them people was playing them flutes. Not people, those little things were playing those flutes.
The band.
Yeah, so I don't know. I still think that'll be an iffy thing. I think they need to still stick on the video, vehicle track, but almost on a go big or go home type scenario. Now that Night Raven, and if anybody says anything in the damn comments, I can tell you didn't listen to the interview. I know it probably will be like 3 feet long, because that is probably one of the longest aircrafts. You know what I'm saying? That's like far as in G.I. Joe. I mean, it might be the same size as the Sky Striker, but it's big and long.
It's longer than the Sky Striker, and you got the little one that sits on top, like the escape.
Yeah, the little skate pod. Yeah, so, but I do think it's feasible. It might cost you $600, but shit, I don't know. I probably would lay down $600 for something like that. But I don't know. It's just a weird place to be in. You either have to go big or go home, or do something just dead on the mark. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say, if they keep it like that, I'm more leaning towards the aquatic scene rather than snow. I would like to see a moray. And a moray is big. You know what I'm saying? That hydrofoil. I actually kind of looked at one at Joe Fest beside of the big. I'm like, damn, it's like a big yacht and shit. It was like a one of them super speed boats. Yeah, it might be bigger than a cigarette boat, because those get kind of big as well, man. But I would like to see something like I believe more people would jump on that. Yeah,
one thing about a hydrofoil on a shelf, you can put it on a shelf and really have a stage presence with it, like have the figures on there doing stuff. It's hard to have, like you see, I got my Dragonfly right behind me. It's hard to put that on a shelf, where you keep your figures at and have it on display, or the Rattler. People are hanging them or putting them somewhere.
Yeah.
But with the boat, like the Well or the Moray, you could almost make a scene right there on your shelf with it. You know what I'm saying? Where you could have the actual figures, have more figures. Yeah. With the Dragonfly, you can have 2 people in the cockpit, and you can have some people like standing around it. But you could actually have like the divers coming out the water, climbing onto the boat. You can have the guys gunning. It has more shelf presence.
Correct. Because one thing you're gonna have with the boats, they got a deck. I don't care if you got a small boat. Like, I can make 5 people stand on that Fortnite boat, just simply off the deck alone, because it's open and it's pretty much just a platform. Right. So I definitely see what you're saying on that. But I hope they go that route. I wouldn't mind grabbing a hydrofoil. If it was G.I. Joe side, I would say a Whale, or the Huey that they got. I don't know why I always forget the name of that helicopter, man. What is that? Tomahawk. Yeah, that would be something dope. But they just hit us with a helicopter. So I think they probably would more go towards the aquatics, or I think on the G.I. Joe side, the Sky Striker, man. But they say it's too big, but I don't see how. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Rattler is already like massive. I mean, I know the Sky Striker is a little bit bigger than that, but you could make it work, man. So I would like to see that.
Well, how do you feel, other than Haslabs? One of the other things they touched on in that conversation was how long does something have to be a Haslab? How much time has to go by from when something's released as a Haslab till they make it again? And Emily said 3 years, I believe, was the time. So they talked about the possibility that they didn't say it specifically, but they said if you go back and watch the video for the Snowcat, Cobra Commander's in there talking about Destro needing to make the his tank white. And so now that's been the go talk around town now the last few days, is that at some point we're going to be getting a his tank painted white, like Arctic his tank. What's your thoughts on that? Not as a Haslab, but just as a general release.
I think it can happen. I mean, I don't know how to go about it. Where they strip all the lights and stuff out.
Yeah, strip the lights down. It'd be a stripped down version of what we got as a Haslab.
Shit, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely all for it, especially for people who didn't get a his tank. But I did hear pieces of that conversation. They said they would never release a black one again. And I hate when people talk in context of that, because it's like, I got mine. Nobody can get, else can get one. A lot of people, nope, they're never going to do it again. You should have got, I always see that shit on Facebook. I'm like, you nerd. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, man, like, chill out. But they just said they was never going to release that black one again. But I can understand that, and them doing a different color on it. I hope they release some white ones. That means a fresh canvas for me to paint on. You know what I'm saying? So, and it'll be a lot cheaper.
A lot cheaper. Yeah, but I wonder if the treads would stay rubber, if they'd be plastic, like the original one, like the little one that came out at Walmart.
Yeah. If they do that, if they go that route, that shit better be $100. You know what I'm saying? Because it still has
a lot of pissed off people.
Yeah, but I mean, not really. It's cool, but don't try to charge me like this is something premium. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't knock them for doing the plastic wheels if it was like $100 base, but I think they would probably lose money trying to do something like that. But I think it will still have the rubber tracks, even though they were talking like it wasn't going to be that cheap, but it might go down to like maybe a 2 flat. Or a 225 or something like that, but that's still premium pricing right there.
That is premium price. Yeah.
So I mean, all the other people do it. So you need to put the tracks on. Ramen doing it. You know what I'm saying? They got a tank around that price. Them damn tracks don't cost that much. And I understand, when it comes to like tooling or people putting the work in to put it together, but like that's not bullshit on it now. And I understand you need your bread, but you ain't gonna price gouge me, on something silly like that. So, like I said, I wouldn't mind it being plastic tracks, but price accordingly, basically. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it can happen. I don't see why not. They got the mold. Why not use it again and get some more bread?
Yeah, I think they need to do it, man. I think the Arctic Kiss would give us more snow stuff. They talked about possibly a Stinger, doing an Arctic Stinger.
Yeah, cool. that definitely is probably going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But
did you have the Cobra Snow Wolf when you were a kid? It was the one.
No, I mean, I really had any vehicles. I did have a snow vehicle, and I'm trying to think what it is. It might have been the damn Snowcat, but I just can't remember. Because all my stuff was like hand-me-downs. Not like I went into the store and picked out a vehicle and it was brought. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't have really none, bro. That snow vehicle stayed around forever. It lost the canopy and all types of shit.
Yeah, well, that Snow Wolf is a cool vehicle too, man. I had that as a kid, and I enjoyed that one. And I also got the 30th anniversary, or not 50th. It was the 50th anniversary with the Snowcat. They re-released it. And they got the Ice Viper where he's in the white and has the red balaclava. He's a cool figure, man. I would like to see them do that. I would hate for that to be a Haslab 2 next year, because I feel like that. I think they would really hear if they end up coming back.
Yeah, they really asking for it with that, man. They should see now. Whatever else we do in snow, we need to make it a regular release. You know what I'm saying? Kind of keep it on that and just move on to something else. But keep playing the game with these. You know what I'm saying? These.
I would like to see that as a made to order over the next 15 months. That Snow Wolf. That's a pretty cool vehicle.
Being that they have inserted this in, I'm pretty sure they're going to add a bunch of snow stuff. You know what I'm saying? I can't see them leaving the well dry, because everything they've kind of small inserted. Like, let's just do something small, like Sergeant's Marauders. You know what I'm saying? Remember, barbecue just sat there for a long time by itself, and then they finally got that. But that was only one. Everything else they kind of start, adding on to those different aspects, that they go into immediately, man. So I'm thinking, which they already announced Iceberg, but there's definitely going to be some more snow stuff coming.
Do you follow Tony? You got Emily, Lenny, and Tony. Tony's the other dude. Do you follow him on Instagram?
No, the short guy, right? The shorter guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, no.
he goes by the Great Tontino or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
that was something else they did too over the last 24 hours or 48 hours. He did a post on Instagram saying what would you like to see as the next Arctic themed figure or vehicle, and he
Oh
had like
yeah,
laid
yeah.
out
You showed me that.
like everything that had come out so far, and then he had like in the background like different things that you could pick from, because I mean, they still got quite a bit that they could release. They got Arctic Stalker, they got
Yeah.
Blizzard, they
Oh
got
yeah, yeah, yeah. And all of those gonna
Zero.
get released too. You know what I'm saying? They might do that Arctic Stalker like a joint next year. You know, one of them Pulse exclusives or something. But right now they really kind of working on Cobra La with that. But I can almost see him being that. But I don't know. They might do a regular release, but they gonna take one of them motherfuckers and make them like some type of exclusive on that
And,
end.
and even the Image comic book series. I know you don't really follow that right now, but
Mhm.
one of the I said episodes, one of the new issues coming out down the road, they just released the Image cover. It actually has Iceberg, Frostbite, and who was it? Iceberg and Snow Job on the cover for the
Nice.
cover art, and
That's
that's
what
pretty
that's
cool.
that's the one that's dropping this month.
No, not this month. It's I'd have to go back and look. I'll hit you with it, but it was a pretty cool cover, man. They got like Frostbite like up in the front, like I think it's his scope. You can see the that starlight scope,
Uh-huh.
and then right behind him you got Iceberg and Snow Job. So it's a pretty cool cover, man.
That sounds pretty dope, man. I actually kind of want to pick that up. I need to take a look at it. You say it's the Image one, right? That's pretty much picking up with Larry Hama
Yes.
left off. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. They ain't
I
the
forget.
Skybound one.
Yeah.
But
Is it Skybound? Yeah, I said Image. It's Skybound. I'm tripping, man. Yeah, that's not
so
Image. It is
it's the
Skybound.
Transformers universe one.
Yeah. They
Okay.
got three. They got the Transformers universe, and then they got the Larry Hama one. But they're
Yeah.
both made by Skybound. I'm tripping when I said Image.
Okay. Okay. Because yeah, I know the one of them picks up. I think was one left off maybe like 20 years ago. Uh, and I believe it was the Image one, but it got picked up by Skybound. But they picked it up that story up and kept going with it.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I seen the
Okay.
cover, the press release for it.
But man, we have been here maybe about an hour. I think we've got all our answers out there. Did we slack or did we back? And it's still kind of still like a split down the middle thing, which I don't have to tell you. I mean, you can see that for itself with the numbers it pulled in. Of course, it's still back, and I'm happy that it back, but almost half because we usually end up with about 28,000, right? 27, 26. With half of his backers still, just like me. It's just like a split decision with that, man. So if you backed, I mean, I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad it reached all the tiers. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad another great G.I. Joe vehicle is going to get put out there. And I'm pretty sure when you get it in the hand, it's going to be awesome. If you didn't, I totally can understand that too, because I'm just on that end. Like, and I don't even care if you don't have a lot of G.I. Joe. You just like, hey, this is not for me. It was just one of those vehicles, man. But it shows the strong following of G.I. Joe, because if it was with any other brand, it probably wouldn't have made it.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe a lot of guys just grab that. You know what I'm saying? I just gotta grab that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's G.I. Joe. I gotta support my troops. I gotta back my guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's the cool thing about G.I. Joe, because even though it's big in our circle, it still hasn't hit the level of the Marvels of the world, you know what I'm saying, the DC comics of the world. And it has a big enough world to do that. But I love it that it's so strong and small and concentrated like this. It helps keep it pure, and whoever backed it or not, we both made pure decisions on it. It was no hype beast, behind it, I believe. You know what I'm saying? But before we get off, shout out to my man Greg Archer. Met up with him, man. Got him that crystal ball. I received that crystal ball too from Walmart. It's pretty straight. People saying it's been falling apart, but I haven't experienced nothing like that.
Dude, I've had one of them for over a month. I ain't seen nothing like that. And mine just came in from Walmart too, and they didn't do it either. So I got 3 of them. Before you say it, I want to thank you. I appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, I just been doing some snooping around, man, see if I came across any other cases. I ain't. It's just that Walmart Hope Mills, I just was a coinky dink.
Well, to
that
all the
day.
followers out there, this is how real Mr. Savage is, man. He came up on a Walmart with these on the shelves. There was only one left, and I asked him if he found one, get it for me, and he got it for me. So I appreciate that, Mike.
Yeah, nah, man, them shits is dope, man. I wish they had another one. I would have grabbed it, but I have one coming in the mail. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. I still got one on a pre-order, but if they would have had another one there, I would have grabbed one for myself as well because they're tough. That Beachhead and Quick Kick, that might be a sleeper set. Beachhead looks good. He looks really good.
I remember when you asked me about it. This came quick. This set came quick. One of the first episodes I came on, they had just did the it was JoJo June. They had just did the digital release.
Correct.
And I was talking about I didn't know if I was feeling them, but man, it's always the ones I get in hand that I don't think I'm gonna like. That I always end up like really, really digging, man. So.
Yeah, that pattern and his camouflage, it all matches up, even though it shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? It just fits through, and his body looks great. You know, his layout, his overlays, man, and quick as well. You know, just with a different vibe on him. I almost kind of had that figure already. I kit bashed a Quick Kick like that, but I'm definitely still gonna bring him in. But got anything to say, man, before we get out of here?
Nah, brother, man. Peace and blessings. I appreciate you. And here we are Sunday kicking off the work week. I hope everybody has a wonderful week, man. And just does their thing, man. And whatever they do, I hope they make the best of it. So,
Yep. Peace and blessings coming from my way too, man. I pray for anybody who is blessed to touch the channel, man. I pray that your life is looked after and you are covered throughout the week. But this is Straight Savage Podcast. Did you slack or did you back? Next one, we'll see if we have some time, man. We'll come at you with G.I. Joe Generations, get to talk about these different generations of G.I. Joe. But with that being said, until the next time, God bless.
Go on, get out of here! Who needs ya?